Good evening, everybody. It's me, Shaz. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today, as you'll probably know, I am a bitch for character design. And I did something for last year's Mermaid, which I'm not the biggest fan of. Like, I hate that video so much. But I decided to redo something, and I thought it would be more fun if I did something more interesting and more up my alley, which is obviously character design. So, I'm going to be designing a mermaid today. And I will take you guys through the steps and process through the entire thing, and I will show you all the final project. First things first.
First things first, I'll eat your brains. Then I'ma start rocking gold teeth and fangs.
Before we do anything, we have to choose a theme. And luckily, this year, I already had a theme prepared. And the theme was deep sea, because I have been so intrigued by it recently. I don't know what is with me and the deep ocean, deep sea, whatever the fuck you want to call it, but I find it so fucking cool. So I decided to go with a deep sea mermaid. So obviously, since it has inspiration from real world things, I had to do a lot of research. And by a lot of research, I mean I just looked at videos for 2 hours and then I chose whatever the fuck I felt like. But obviously, which means we have to get right into the body shape. Play the speed paint. Now, I'm gonna say it right here and right now. This body shape was very simple to do. All I needed was a base to put my design on top of. So basically, I just needed the proper bone structure, the proper fins, and everything I needed, right? No hair, nothing, just stripped it down to just the body. Which I feel like I did pretty well. So if you're seeing the deep sea, you will see they're a lot more creepy looking, very scary, honestly terrifying, and I just wanted her to look human but messed up. I wanted her to have this vibe of like, she's kind of human looking, but her limbs are too long and her neck is too long and her face is shaped a little strangely where it wouldn't be shaped normally. I just wanted her to have a sense of weird and strangeness that I don't have the words for because I'm not the smartest human being alive. But I also wanted her to have some sort of light coming from her. So I decided I was gonna put it in her eyes, and I give her like something similar to like an anglerfish, because since the deep sea is literally pitch black, a lot of the deep sea creatures have bioluminescence, and basically, I don't know much about what that means, but from what I've gathered, it's basically where they their body have evolved in a sense where they glow, and like they basically have like a light source going on in their body. And I just kinda used that, and I made her very skinny. I added fins where I thought she would need it, obviously when you think about her swimming. Made her kind of long looking. I added some scale bits, I added gills, whatever I felt like it, and that's pretty much it. Here is the final result of the body type. Gotta say, it was very easy to do. I was really expecting this video to genuinely take all the fun out of character design for me and make me want to cry, because that's what most of my videos make me feel like. But gotta say, this body shape, which is always the hardest part of a character, came up pretty well. Other than the pose could be improved, but obviously this is not the pose we're going to be using for the pose doesn't matter in this drawing since it's just brainstorming. But you know what, I'm rambling, but let's move on to the next part, which is adding details. Roll the speed paint. Details is, I would say, the second most important part of a character design, and obviously you probably all know why. It adds character, it adds personality, it just adds more niceness to a character design, if that makes any sense, which probably it doesn't, but I'm trying my hardest, okay? Leave me alone. Obviously, the first thing I wanted to do was not the first thing, I actually don't know if that was the first thing I do. I'm not even looking at the speed paints, I could not tell you. Anyways, I gave her long flowy hair because I thought that would really complement what she looked like. Just add to like the longness of her character design that I was really going for. And I gave her, instead of like what the Little Mermaid did with like the bra and everything, I gave her armor. I put it on her shoulders and her breast area and like around her chest. Just add, since I wanted this character to have a contrasting color, something that doesn't mix in with like a value wise. I didn't want it to mix in with like the kind of smooth and silky, I guess, in a sense of like her body. I wanted her to have rough edges, like, since obviously as further you go down into the deep sea, the water pressure gets higher and higher, and I would imagine you would need a thick shell to deal with that sort of thing. So I kind of added armor and obviously long flowing hair, and I thought this was simple enough. I wanted her to be detailed to like a point and not too much, if that makes totally sense, which probably doesn't, but I'm trying my best to explain it, and that's what it is. Here is the final detail. Well, that's not all. I did try to add a few more things. Here is that. Okay, so I tried to add something to her head. I felt like something was missing, but I tried adding this kind of pattern thing that I found out in a statue. There's like a lot of strange things that people have found in the deep ocean or just underwater in general, and I found that so interesting. Y'all should really check it out. It's really cool. I found this really cool statue, and I thought maybe giving her a headpiece that like symbolizes that sort of thing would help, but honestly it kind of looked very ugly. So this is where I kind of like the design. Sometimes you design something and you're like, shit, never mind, that should look ugly as fuck. And then you move on, which happens in all character design, and it's just, you shouldn't let it hinder your things. But I tried it didn't work. When I was designing this character, I was like talking to my friends for a while, and I kind of, as I usually do with character design, I kind of started thinking of a personality for her. And with her, I felt like she was a very curious person, but like a morbidly curious person, where like she thinks of a lot of deathly things, because she's from the deep sea. I don't expect that place to be very friendly. So I expect her to like see a lot of skulls, a lot of dead people, because a lot of people drown, and I expected her to like deal with that sort of thing a lot. So I thought having that like weird tattered cloth around her hand would kind of symbolize that. I don't know why, I just liked it, so I kept it. Which is just how character design works sometimes, you know. Obviously I also did not want to bore you guys with the line art, because it's genuinely just line art and it's the most boring to film, so I just did it in my own free time. So here you go, here's the line art, and that's the line art. It doesn't matter much, and we can move on now. Now here is where I don't have speed paint footage, because I'm a dumb bitch. I forgot to record a lot of this footage, so I'm just gonna explain as we go, okay? So next is obviously colors. So first thing I did was I made her skin light. I gave her dark hair. I gave her like a gradient dark tail. Her armor is dark. The insides of her fins, whatever the fuck they're called, I genuinely don't know what they're called. They're black. I gave her, just because there was a lot of turquoise, like a muted turquoise gray, kind of cool gray kind of color scheme, I wanted to add some sort of visual like to it, you know what I mean? That's just a noise, but I feel like that really conveys what I'm trying to say, so I'm just gonna use that. And I added some little pieces of orange. Well, this orange generally was a little too muted. I wish I went for a brighter orange, but there's like a muted orange on, I used it as her tattered cloth, and I put like a little bit of like eyeshadow sort of thing under her eyes, just as a different coloration. I thought it made her eyes look more visually interesting. I also added that weird statue inspired thingy on her arm. Just thought it looked cool. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but I just like how it looks, so I kept it. So that's just how character design works. Anyways, I liked it, I was feeling it, but I decided I wanted to do something different, because I was like, it's quirky, but it's kind of expected for like a creepy mermaid, you know? So let's move on to the next one, which is this. So I'm gonna say it right here, right now. At first, I was not impressed by it at all. Something about light hair for me, like sometimes you can do it so well, but sometimes white hair just does not work. And for me, originally, this was not working. I didn't like it, but I made her skin darker and I made her hair the more bright version, and it's just a lot of like the values are switched, but which also does make it so her skin is a mid-tone, and I turned her skin into a mid-tone instead of a dark tone because she still has that armor, and I generally didn't feel like armor works with like light colored things, so I just ended up switching it to like a dark tone, and her skin ended up being a mid-tone. So I went around asking some friends if they could have some criticism for me, because obviously criticism is always important and you should always ask around if you need help. And this was a decision I did not want to make by myself, and I was completely conflicted, so I decided to ask some people around, and overwhelmingly people liked color 2 more, which the first one looks great, but the second one feels more like a deep sea mermaid, because obviously, as I mentioned before, the bioluminescence, they glow a lot, and originally just having the eyes and the thing glow was not that cool. Having her hair glow as well would add more visual stimuli, and it would make her look more interesting. And I liked it, and since most people liked it, I ended up going with this design. And obviously people still had criticism where people were saying the hair is gorgeous in the first one and it feels more deep sea, but it still needs some. And I decided to revise the designs a little bit, not too much, not too crazy. In the first one, I added these kind of spikes from her head just to symbolize more aggression, more kind of scary looking. I wanted her to not look approachable. I wanted her to look terrifying. I wanted her to be the type of character where like you look at them and you get terrified and piss your pants, but like in reality they're a sweetheart, which I feel like that generally is who she is. But I thought the spikes, and obviously I just wanted to add more fins to her face. I realized I never added fins to her face, so I did that as well. The second one was just the fins without the spikes, just in case people didn't like it. And obviously I went around the same people asking them which one they liked the most, and they said they liked the ones with the spikes because they thought it added the visual stimuli that it was missing. And yeah, and there you have it. We have a final design.
Yeah.
Obviously, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. As much as I would like to just be done here, we still have the biggest thing of a character design left to do. With what's important is a character turnaround. If you guys don't know what a character turnaround is, in a front-facing, a back-facing, and a side-facing version of the character, just to give you like a good reference of a character. And obviously, people like to do that a lot. I decided to do it, but here's the thing. A bitch hates doing character turnarounds. So I did the sketch and I literally gave up for like a week. Okay, I gave up for a week also because I had exams. Yes, I was doing this character design in the middle of exams. Bad idea, I know. But I took a break from this. I took my exams. Thankfully, they went well. We have the final design.
Yeah.
Hope you guys like her as much as I do, and if you're wondering what her name is, obviously it's right there if you can't read. Her name is Mariana, based off the Mariana Trench. I know it's a very basic name, but honestly at this point of the character design, I was just genuinely so tired of mermaids, and I just wanted to get this done. It's like almost the end of May, and I'm still not done with this video, and I just wanted to be done and over with. Even though I lost like a lot of footage and forgot to record half the footage, I really did enjoy this type of video, and I genuinely want to do more of this. So if you guys do like this, please do support it and give me maybe a theme suggestion in the comments. That would be really cool. But as always, I hope you guys like this video. I'm really proud of this, so I hope you guys are proud of it as much as I am, and hope you enjoy her. Hope to draw her more even after Mermay, because Mermay is over and I still haven't had the chance to draw her properly. So stay tuned. Follow my Instagram if you want to see more of that. Follow my Twitter for more ramblings of my brain. I have a TikTok now. I don't know how it properly works yet, but I want to do more content on there. And stay safe in quarantine, everyone. I know times have been tough, but all we gotta do is stand together. And I love you, and stay safe. Good night.